Hello, my name is Anthony Guerra, and this is my ethnography interview for PSYU 613. Please share with me anything that comes to mind for you that informs you of your culture.
Some of the things that inform me of my culture are my upbringing, my values, my religion, my family, and my general way of life.
Okay. And how did you come to know what you know about your culture?
A few different ways, mostly through family traditions and asking my family about our culture. I've also done the 23andMe DNA testing, and then also through church and school.
If at all possible, please share with me any stereotypes you have heard about your culture.
Some stereotypes about women are they're inferior to men, they're less knowledgeable than men, and they're weaker. Women who don't work are ditzy and they're trophy wives, and women who do work don't have time for their families or time for a social life. Some stereotypes about millennials are that we're lazy, we don't have any loyalty, we are entitled and overly sensitive. And then some stereotypes about Christians are that we're hypocritical, we're homophobic, we're judgmental, we're intolerant of other cultures and other religions, and that we are superficial.
Do you believe the stereotypes to be true?
For the most part, I don't think that they're true. Unfortunately, in my experience, I have met people who call themselves Christians that do fit several of the stereotypes that are associated with Christianity. Obviously, not all Christians fit the stereotype, but I do understand where they come from.
Okay. Do you fit any of these stereotypes?
I don't think that I do. I don't think that any women are inferior to men. I myself am a hardworking, loyal person, and as a Christian, I'm very tolerant of other religions and sexual orientations and different cultures. So I don't think that I fit any of those stereotypes.
And what emotions are present for you when you're treated as though you're a stereotype?
Um, it's really frustrating and upsetting when I'm treated as a stereotype. I've had a lot of meaningful experiences and have worked very hard to become the person that I am today. And for someone to totally disregard all of that based on my gender or my age or my ethnicity or my religion makes me feel like I'm not valued as a person.
If at all possible, please share with me any stereotypes that you have heard shared about my culture.
Some stereotypes about men are that they're aggressive, they're not in touch with their feelings, they're strong and athletic, and that they don't help with housework or cooking or child rearing. And then some stereotypes about Hispanic people are that they are bad-tempered, they have lots of kids, and people think that many of them are illegal immigrants.
So, if you would, please ask me the following questions there, please.
Do you believe the stereotypes to be true?
Um, I have to imagine there's some truth to the stereotype if it's a stereotype to begin with. I would say that there are a large number of males that do believe in being egalitarian. I believe that there are obviously a lot of Hispanics who are here within this country legally that are mild-mannered and capable of being kind, thoughtful, relational people. That said, you know, there's got to be a certain amount of some of these things that have been consistently seen for them to be somewhat of a stereotype. But that's kind of my thoughts on that.
Do you fit any of the stereotypes?
No, I don't think I fit any of the stereotypes that you've mentioned. I'm sure I fit some stereotypes to a certain extent in different portions of my life, but I tend to be pretty in touch with my feelings. I tend to help around the house with uh, what are considered to be indoor chores, such as cooking, cleaning, which might be attributed occasionally to female genders. I don't have any particular need to be the typical masculine male. I'm just happy to be with the person that I love and help them in any way that I can. So um, the stereotypes that you've mentioned, I don't think I fit them in any way, shape, or form.
What emotions are present for you when you are treated as though you are a stereotype?
So I think for me, when I see stereotypes about Mexicans, that they're either lazy and on welfare, that they're uneducated, that they're here just to soak off of the American society. I really struggle with those stereotypes. Um, I am on my mom's side, first generation Mexican American. She was born in Mexico, came here legally as a resident alien, then later became nationalized as a citizen. She worked in the fields, worked her way up, and now I am working on completing a master's degree. I am, for all intents and purposes, a very good encapsulation of what the American dream is supposed to be. Unfortunately, even though many of my family members are very much the same way that I am, this is not the stereotype that's reflected. This is not the assumption that's made about typical Hispanics that are made towards me and my family members. And so that's really frustrating and it's insulting. And to hear some of those things that are just flat out lies, they're hurtful. And so it does bother me pretty. It bothers me quite a bit when I hear people fall into those stereotypes. Um, my question to you would be, from your point of view, what is the biggest difference or differences between us?
I would say that the biggest difference between you and I is that you are an extrovert and I am very much an introvert. You love to socialize and be around large groups of people, whereas I am a homebody and I prefer very short social interactions with few people.
And from your point of view, what is the biggest similarity or the similarities that we have?
I think the biggest similarities are that we're both very hardworking people. We've both chosen professions that help others, and we both love working with children.
If I were your therapist, what would you want for me to know, or how would you like for me to act uh, in a way that would make you feel comfortable?
I would say that the most important things a therapist can do to create a comfortable environment are being empathetic and also trying to understand how certain events might impact me as someone of a different gender or ethnicity or religion.
And as we close, if there's one moment that made you feel less comfortable, can you share what that was and why maybe you felt some of that discomfort?
I would definitely say I was uncomfortable sharing stereotypes about your culture. Stereotypes are typically ugly and mean, and even though I don't think they're an accurate representation of your culture, I know that stereotypes are often hurtful, and I'd hate to hurt your feelings or potentially bring up unpleasant memories of when people have treated you badly because they thought you were a stereotype.
And finally, what could I have done differently to help you feel more comfortable?
I think you did a wonderful job facilitating this and making me feel comfortable. I don't think there was anything else you could have done.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time. This will conclude the ethnography interview. Thank you very much and have a wonderful night.